Walter J. Rothschild. Radio pioneer Walter J. Rothschild retired in 1973 as corporate vice president of Lee Enterprises, Incorporated, owner of WTAD Radio and KHQA-TV, and was reputed to be the third family of American newspapers, TV, and radio at that time. Born in 1908 in St. Louis, Missouri, Rothschild began his broadcasting career at KMOX Radio in St. Louis.
He talked about being a 19, 20-year-old lad sitting on the roof of the Chase Park Plaza Hotel in St. Louis and broadcasting live on KMOX Radio the return flight of Lindbergh when he came back from his famous flight. He saw the automobile really advance. He saw the airplanes come. He saw man walk on the moon. In Walter's case, he got to help broadcast a lot of this stuff.
Rothschild was the early morning announcer on KMOX when the owner of WTAD in Quincy heard his voice. He accepted a position as manager of the station and came to Quincy in 1929 at the age of 21. Rothschild wore many hats at his new station. He was the on-air personality, reporting local and national news and advising listeners of the weather forecast. His beautiful singing voice was featured as entertainment. He was the janitor, and he was the sales staff.
He was never afraid of work, and so if you got your hands dirty, you got your hands dirty. But you always needed to be there when you were expected to be there and to carry your load.
As WTAD grew, Rothschild saw the need to lure national advertising dollars to the company, so he recorded popular WTAD programming, such as Hal Barton's Man on the Street interviews, farm reports, and a variety of live local entertainment, onto large phonograph records.
And he put it all together, and he got on the train or the plane or however they traveled to New York at that time, carrying all this cumbersome equipment, the records in one hand and the player in the other hand. And he walked up and down Madison Avenue calling on the madmen in these big advertising agencies, and he would play these. He says, I tell you why I want you to spend some of your national advertising dollars in this little town of Quincy, Illinois, on my station, WTAD Radio. Just listen to this. Bang, 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 you know, they'd listen and before it was all over, within a period of, a short period of time, 3 months or 6 months, the national dollars started pouring into WTAD.
Lee Radio Incorporated bought WTAD AM from the Illinois Broadcasting Association in 1944, and the property was merged along with other Midwest electronic media with the Lee Syndicate newspapers, eventually forming Lee Enterprises Incorporated. The corporation owned 14 daily newspapers, 5 radio, and 4 television stations. Rothschild was instrumental in erecting the WTAD FM tower, the highest tower in the area at that time, and the WTAD FM broadcasts began in August of 1948. In addition to serving as president of Lee Broadcasting of Quincy, Rothschild also held high-level positions with stations in Mason City, Iowa, and Mankato, Minnesota. He became director of Lee Enterprises in 1966 and corporate vice president in 1967. He was a media tycoon.
Not many people in Quincy, Illinois could pick up the phone and call CBS and ask to speak to the president of the company and be put on the phone immediately.
Colleagues remember Rothschild's signature bow tie and pipe, and they describe him as highly intelligent, well-read, and determined to run the company his way.
A lot of people were afraid of Walter because they had heard that if you didn't do things like the way he wanted to do them, he would fire you. It's just as simple as that. In fact, he fired me twice. But his bark was worse than his bite. He liked to laugh a lot and tell stories, but when it came to business, it was all business.
Rothschild was a shrewd businessman who paid close attention to the company's bottom line and who rarely accepted defeat. When Lee Enterprises aspired to get into the television business in the early 1950s, they called on Rothschild to start a television station in this area, in spite of the fact that WGEM had already received a television license in Quincy.
He went to Hannibal, Missouri, and went into KHMO and talked to the radio station manager down there, the big shot down at KHMO, and said, gave him a proposition. He said, why don't you apply for a television license here in Hannibal? And if you can get that done through the SEC or whatever they had to do to get the license, we will make you a great offer to come to work with Lee Enterprises. And lo and behold, he got the license for Hannibal, Missouri.
The new station's call letters were KHQA for Keokuk, Hannibal, Quincy area, and it debuted in September of 1953. Rothschild served as its general manager. Rothschild served on the Quincy School Board from 1977 to 1980, was a member of the Lions and Rotary Clubs, was a member of St. Peter Catholic Church, the Knights of Columbus, and Radio Pioneers.
I think he truly loved Quincy because they moved there from St. Louis, and he worked very hard, and he really cared for his family, and he was always there when you needed him.
Once you met Walter, you would never forget Walter. And I think he was good for the Quincy business community. I think he was a leader. He believed in the community, and he loved the community of Quincy.
Rothschild died on May 29, 1980. He and his wife Irene had 3 daughters.